And welcome to a slightly different video for the AHGP channel, but hopefully something that becomes a little bit more of the norm. We're going to do a short few minutes discussing the Dutch Grand Prix, and we're about to start streaming with Aston Martin on F1 Manager 24, so if you haven't seen the stream or you haven't followed my content, make sure you check some of that out. We're also taking AHGP all the way to the top with F1 Manager Create a Team. So let's get stuck into the Dutch Grand Prix, won by Lando Norris. He was dominant. Okay, he had the start issue once again. That is definitely still a problem for Lando, but he overcame that. He overtook Max Verstappen with ease. And to be honest, it was one of those days where, and these days don't happen very often, where Max Verstappen knew there was no point in fighting. He knew he didn't have the machinery to keep Lando behind. And you know, if Lando hadn't got past on track, McLaren would have strategied him ahead in some way, shape or form. You'd like to think McLaren have made a bit of a pig's ear of strategy in recent races. So yeah, maybe it's best that Lando got the job done on track. So that was very good. And to win by over 20 seconds as well. Absolute domination from Lando Norris. And this is a real statement performance, because finally it's no longer Lando hasn't won a race. It's no longer, Lando only won because of the safety car. Lando won after making a bad start. He overtook the bloke he's trying to beat in the World Championship and beat him by over 20 seconds in the rest of the race. So much command, and it shows you just how good Lando Norris is. You cannot doubt his ability now. It was one of those drives, a little bit like with George Russell in Belgium last time out, where he did something no one else did on that day. Okay, he got disqualified, but actually you can see the caliber of the driver you're working with. So these two are definite potential world champions. Whether they go on to be world champion is a whole different matter. You've got to make that next step up from race winner to championship challenger and world champion. So it's a massive, massive statement for Lando. And I think it means the title fight is well and truly on. McLaren now have a car that at most of the circuits we go to, they will be favourites. They will be the team to beat. It's no longer Red Bull who are the dominant force. McLaren are aiming to reel off 10 straight wins. And if they do that, they will win both championships, probably. Slight asterisk on the Drivers' Championship, because Max Verstappen could probably still afford to finish second in most of the races. So it's going to be tricky. But obviously, with Oscar Piastri being a factor, this is where the Hungary situation might come back to help Lando. So the championship fight is definitely on. At the time of speaking, I don't actually know what the difference is in the championship, but Lando took 8 points out of Max Verstappen today, and that is a start in terms of going in the right direction. So phenomenal drive from Lando Norris. But I actually wanted to talk about somebody else who was on the podium, Charles Leclerc. I thought he drove absolutely brilliantly today. Ferrari looked nowhere on Friday. They looked slightly better yesterday in qualifying, but still not really setting the world alight. Charles was only 6th and Carlos Sainz was knocked out in Q2. But not only did they have great race pace to finish 3rd, and I think it was 5th in the end for Carlos Sainz. You know, that was good strategy from Ferrari that got Charles the track position on Oscar Piastri. They were quick enough to force George Russell to box and concede a couple of positions, and they absolutely drove that race. And Charles drove brilliantly. These are the sorts of drives that we haven't potentially seen from Charles all that often. He did one earlier this year in Suzuka where I think he did a one stop and he drove a really tidy race to recover some points. But this one got him a podium, and it was just fantastic. He held off Oscar Piastri on better tyres for almost 30 laps in the same car that won the race dominantly. That shows you the level of driver that Charles Leclerc is, and the Ferrari maybe sacrificed a little bit of qualifying pace to have a better race car. So all credit to them. And you know, people say that Charles Leclerc is going to be a step up from George Russell, and I don't think there's going to be very much in it. But Lewis Hamilton knows he's got his work cut out when he goes to Ferrari next season. He's not going to rock up there and immediately be top dog. He's got a very, very tough customer to deal with in the other car. And Charles Leclerc showed today that he can deliver drives that are probably above expectation for what the car should be delivering. So, you know, credit where credit's due there. So for me, Charles is my driver of the day that isn't Lando Norris. I didn't vote. I don't vote on the driver of the day thing for Formula One, but you know, my number one pick would have been Lando Norris. My second pick was Charles Leclerc. And I've put this question to the people in chat here right now. So obviously, if you want to be part of this, you can be, and you see your name on the screen. Make sure you tune in for the Sunday streams. If not, you can always just leave a comment down below with who your driver of the day is or was, and you can rate the race as well. So let's have a scroll through and see what a few of you guys are saying. So Justin Inakaitis, world champion member of the channel as well. So yeah, a little plug for that. He says his driver of the day was Gasly, who finished in P9, I believe he did. Really, really good race from the Frenchman, showing that actually he's the sort of driver who's become one of those really high-performing midfield drivers. Gets the maximum out of the car most weekends, picks up points when they're on offer. And Justin has rated the race as a 6 out of 10. I'd probably go with a 6.5 myself. It wasn't a fantastic race, but there was enough to keep you interested in terms of strategy and on-track battle. You know, Piastri trying to get past Leclerc. He closed up quickly, didn't get past him. Was he going to close up again? He did, but he still couldn't get past. And then there was the Mercedes guys, and there was lots of fighting in the midfield as well. So it was a pretty decent race. Germat7046, world champion member, says a 6.9 out of 10. And he has gone Nico Hülkenberg as driver of the day. Interesting. He did 58 laps on the hards and almost scored some points. Yeah, it was a solid effort from Hülkenberg, because I remember he stopped very, very early. Let me know what you thought of the Dutch Grand Prix. Who impressed you other than Lando Norris? And rate the race out of 10 for me. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. Do you agree?